In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why there will not be a real estate crash in 2024, despite so many other people coming out suggesting a massive crash is coming for real estate this year. I don't think so, and I want to share with you all the details right here on the video. Let's get into it and discuss what's going on. Now, first off, to be 100% fair, in this video, I'm only talking about residential real estate, not to be mistaken with commercial real estate. Now, these two are very, very different, and when it comes down to commercial real estate, yes, I do actually agree there probably will be a massive price reduction, otherwise known as crash, in commercial real estate at some point later on in 2024 and throughout 2025. However, when it comes down to residential real estate, I actually believe the actual opposite, which is probably price appreciation and very strong prices in residential real estate. However, I want to share with you exactly what I mean by this and what you may want to look out for if you're a buyer or a seller. I want to share with you a couple different things that I want you to look for in this market. And again, you got to stay on your toes here because things will likely change very rapidly upon the announcement of a couple different things here. And again, I will share that with you. So let's jump into it. Now, again, talking only about residential real estate, okay? Let's talk about what's going on here. So back in 2020, basically through the beginning of 2023, obviously, right now we're in 2024, but during that time frame, we had massive price appreciation in residential real estate, right? A lot of prices, a lot of home prices were going up. We were seeing multiple offers on basically every single property. It was nuts during that time. Then the Federal Reserve came in, and what did they do? They started aggressively raising interest rates, right? Well, this priced a lot of people out of the market, and a lot of people just stepped to the sidelines and said, I don't want to play in this game anymore, right? These interest rates are going up, prices are going up. This is not really a game that I can compete in, right? So that was the situation. Now, over the last, year and a half or so, since early 2023, we've seen a lot of buyers that are still available, a lot of buyers that are still out there, but they're being very selective now. Why? Because they can be, because prices are high. Prices have not really come down. They've been holding very steady, and prices are very, very strong, but yet interest rates are still very high as well. Interest rates have not come down basically whatsoever. Now, obviously, interest rates do oscillate quite a bit, but we're holding kind of right around this 7% range. We do dip down into the high 6% range. We go up into the mid 7% range, but kind of right around that 7% range is where we've been oscillating for several months here. Now, the situation is these buyers, again, are being very selective, maybe looking around, not jumping on properties as much, certainly not offering multiple offers like what we were seeing in 2020 through basically early 2023. We all kind of got away from this multiple offer type of situation, even though that may be happening on select properties right now. It's not happening like it was for those couple of years there. It was nuts, right? If you were watching anything in the real estate market, it was crazy, which, by the way, I keep a very close eye on the real estate market because I'm very fascinated by it, just like the financial markets. I watch the stock market, the crypto market, all these markets very, very closely because I'm very interested in it. I want to know what's going on with all these different things, right? But anyway, here's the situation, and here's exactly why I'm saying there's not going to be a massive price reduction, in other words, crash in residential real estate in 2024 or anytime in the next several years. Okay, here's exactly why I'm saying that, okay? This market is being held up by a couple different things. Number one, price, and number two, interest rates, okay? Let me explain really quickly what I mean by that. Let's just say that prices went down by, 10, 15, 20%. What would you see in this marketplace right now? You would see a flood of buyers come in and flood the market and start buying up all kinds of things. Because if prices actually did go down by 10, 15, or 20%, now these buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines for the last year and a half or so are going to jump into this market and say, I'm ready to buy now, right? Who cares about that 7% interest rate? I'm buying. Prices have come down 10, 15, 20%. That'd be massive in this market, okay? I do not foresee a 20, even 15, or even a 10% cut to prices anytime soon. Now, obviously, I'm talking about real estate as a whole. Okay, fine. In some selective markets around the country, yes, maybe we will see prices to go down by 10, 15, 18, maybe 20% in some very, very selective markets. But I would not say that's the whole across the entire country. I would not suspect that whatsoever. If you did see that happen, by all means, I'd say buy, buy, buy. I mean, seriously, it'd be an awesome opportunity for a lot of people, but I do not suspect that. Because here's the thing. There's so many buyers sitting on the sidelines right now. They're waiting for one of two things. They're waiting for prices to go down so they can buy. Because remember, at the end of the day, what do buyers look at when it comes down to real estate? They look at their monthly payment. They don't necessarily look at the purchase price so much. They look at how much do I need to pay every month. That's literally what it comes down to for basically every single buyer is how much do I need to pay for this thing every single month, right? That is the reality of the situation when it comes down to buying a house is what is this going to cost me every month? Can I afford it? How much what percentage of my gross income, of my income is going to go to this thing? Am I going to be house rich and cash poor? What's the situation, right? Everybody wants to know payment. That's literally what it comes down to. So if prices were to go down 10, 12, 15, 20%, then guess what? Now these buyers sitting on the sidelines that have not been buying for the last year and a half or longer are basically saying, hey, these prices have come down so much, the payment is now sustainable, the payment is now feasible, let's buy, let's do something. So that's exactly what's going to happen. When we see prices go down at all, if we see prices go down a little bit, we're going to see these buyers jump in and prop these prices right back up. Remember, real estate, just like every other market out there, the stock market, crypto market, literally everything, bubble gum on your convenience store shelves. It's all supply and demand. When supply is high and demand is low, prices must go down. When demand remains high and supply is limited, again, exactly the situation we're seeing right now, demand is still very high, even though it's not really showing because the buyers aren't really buying in massive quantities like they were a couple years ago. Demand is still very high. I guarantee if you saw a 10% drop in prices right now in this market, you would see buyers all over the place scooping up every last house because it's a deal now, right? So you would see this, and demand is still very much out there, okay? But anyway, demand is still very high, therefore prices are still remaining relatively steady. Yes, prices have come down a little bit as of recently, but not very much, okay? This is totally fine. It's just trying to find those buyers that are out there. Now, that is factor number one, prices. If they come down a little bit, the buyers are going to step back in and prop this market back up, and it's going to be still, prices are going to hold steady, okay? Now, that's factor number one. Factor number two, you already know what it is. Interest rates. If these interest rates come down, again, we're oscillating right around 7%. So for easy math purposes, let's just call it 7%. But if these interest rates come down to, say, I don't know, 6, 5.5, or even 5%, guess what's going to happen? It's game on. All of these buyers be coming out of the woodwork, again, just like the price analogy that I gave you a second ago, all of these buyers are going to come out and say, wow, this is cheap, right? This is cheap money again. We're down at 6, 5.75, 5.5, whatever it happens to be. Buyers are going to flood the market yet again because remember, at the end of the day, what does it come down to? It comes down to payment. Payment on a monthly basis is what buyers want to know, is what is my payment? If interest rates come down 1, 1.5, 1.75, 2%, something like this from where we're currently sitting at right now, this makes the payment way more affordable, and therefore buyers are going to step back into this market. But here's the situation, and again, so many other people out there suggesting the exact same thing. I'm certainly not the first person to say this, but I'm going to say it again right now. If interest rates come down 1, 1.5, 1.75, 2%, something like this, and get down into the 5 to 6% range, again, sub 6%, anything basically sub 6%, if we're in the 5.5 to 5%, anywhere even sub 5%, it's going to be nuts market again. Absolutely nuts market, okay? Now here's the thing. Here's the problem with interest rates coming down. As these interest rates coming down, people are going to step back into the market and they're going to start buying stuff again, okay? What's that going to do? It's going to prop prices up and make prices even stronger. So what's going to happen is when we see prices go down to that, say, 5.5, 5.25, 5% range, maybe even sub 5%, at some point we will see this happen. When we see interest rates go back down to that, guess what's going to happen to price? Price is going to go up substantially. Why? Supply and demand. Way more demand for the limited amount of supply or inventory that is currently on the market. Therefore, prices will go up, okay? This is the situation. So here's what I want to tell you in my kind of final statements here. If you are currently in the market right now to buy something, I would say right now is an amazing time to buy something, okay? That is my honest opinion. Why? Am I just that ignorant that I don't know what's going on? No, here's why. Like I said, if prices go down at all, they're going to be propped right back up. If interest rates go back down, you're going to see price appreciation massively. You're going to see a massive price appreciation and adjustment to price significantly higher. Therefore, you didn't really save any money by waiting, right? So here's the situation. If you're in the market to buy, again, this is not financial advice, it's not accounting advice, it's not tax advice, it's not investment advice, it is not advice in any way, shape, or form. You should certainly do your own research. But here's what I would say. Right now is a great time to buy. Reason being is sellers want to unload properties. Nobody's really buying right now because of the factors that I told you here in this video. So you could go out and you could make, I don't know, a few offers, maybe offer a little bit less than asking, scoop up a nice little deal. Yes, fine, you're going to lock in a 7% or give or take a little bit interest rate. That's bad. I totally agree. 7% is very high when it comes down to mortgages relative to where we've been the last several years here. 7% is very high. But guess what you can do? In a year, 6 months, in 9 months, if whatever it happens to be, when interest rates go down 1.5%, 2%, you can just refinance. And there you go. You've got the house you want at a reasonable price. Maybe you offered 5, 10,000 less than the asking. Maybe you offer 1, 2, 3, 4%, 5% less than asking price, right? There's nothing wrong with making an offer. Worst case scenario, they say, no, I'm sorry. That's well below what I want for the house. And we're not going to agree to that, right? Who cares? Nothing wrong with asking, right? You never know. You might find a seller that says, sure, no problem whatsoever. I'll take that offer, okay? So you're locking in. You're getting a house that you want. You get it for a price that you're reasonable, that you want. Yes, you're locking in interest rate you don't want, but you also have the flexibility to refinance that at some point in the next year or so, year and a half, when interest rates go down substantially. And you'll be in a pretty good position. However, if you wait for interest rates to go down, I'm going to tell you this much. You're playing the same game as everybody else out there who's waiting for interest rates to go down so they can afford the payment a little bit more. But then guess what? Prices will go right back up and the payment will be essentially the exact same because prices will adjust higher to account for the adjustment to interest rates. Does that kind of make sense? And again, I'm not the first person to say that. Tons of people are saying that, and I totally agree. When these interest rates go down, anything sub essentially 6%, if we make it below 5%, it's going to be nuts. Absolutely nuts. Prices will be through the roof yet again. We're going to see massive price appreciation because supply and demand imbalances will yet again be at play. Way more buyers than way more sellers. Inventory will still be relatively low. Buyers will be high, and we're going to get multiple offers, and we're going to drive this market right back up like what we've seen. But remember, when it comes to these markets, what goes up does not always come down in the same proportion that it went up. If it goes up 50%, it does not necessarily mean it's going to go down 50%. It might go up 20, 30, 40, 50%, but it might only come down, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 14, 17%, something like that. Does that kind of make sense? I hope that helps you. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that for now. If you have any questions, concerns on this, again, leave your comments, your questions, your feedback down below. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends on social media. There's a share button right down below so they can also see what's going on here. And maybe this video will help somebody that's maybe in the market to buy or sell right now. This is just what I want to share with you really quickly. So anyway, hope this helps you. Again, check out any other videos here on the channel. Enjoy your day. Take care. Subscribe. Share the video. And I'll catch you